How's it going, everyone? It's CodyBPyrotechnics, and as you know, the other day we built a bunch of mortar racks with our Excalibur tubes from the mortar kits. Now today we're going to be testing them out because the other day we never got a chance to test them. It was too windy that night. And so basically I've got some 6-inch Bomba canister shells from Red Apple Fireworks, and I've got my favorite ball shells of all time, the shooter shells by Stargate Fireworks. So as you can see, we got a pretty big size storm coming in. I don't know if that's gonna hit here before we light these off, but if it rains, that'll be good. We're not gonna start any fires. But I wanted to show you guys the new merch. Just ordered these the other day. So check it out. This is the CBP logo, CodyBPyrotechnics. And on the back, we've got permission to shoot site required. You know, you're coming out here, you can't just come out here. You need my permission, right, Cade?
I suppose.
So I think this is a pretty cool sweatshirt. You could definitely gift it to your pyro kids if they're into fireworks. You know, permission to shoot site required. That sounds cool. And then they got the pyro crew stuff up here. You can wear it on the 4th of July, have a great time. Now remember, you need my permission to be up here. So fortunately enough, Cade has my permission. So we'll show you a nice sweatshirt for the adults. So Cade is wearing the adult pyro shirt. Check it out. It's got the CBP logo right there. And then if he turns around, take a look. We've got MILF. Man, I like fireworks. So you wives out there, if you've got husbands that are into fireworks, this is definitely a pickup for Christmas. Imagine your husband out there on the 4th of July lighting fireworks wearing that. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, make sure you get him the bigger one. I'm pretty sure Cody gave me the small.
I gave you a large. You're
Shows
just
off
fat.
the dad bod. This is a large?
Yeah, that's a large.
No way.
It's a large, man.
Oh, somebody
let's
washed
take a look.
it. Somebody washed it, man.
Oh yeah, it's been washed. Check it out. It's definitely a large.
In China, man. God.
So this is the 3-shot effect-based rack, the one that I put the stickers on. We're actually going to be loading that up on the pickup because we're going to be using quick fuse for our effect-based rack. But starting over here on this one, this is the one that I'm going to load up all the shooter shells into. So pretty much we're just going to be taking all these shells out and dropping them in here like this to where all the green fuses come out to the top. Now I have a feeling that on these canister shells, like if we were to load one in here, it comes up a little further. Actually, the ball shells come up further. That's strange. So I don't know the length on these tubes. I think they're 12-inch, but I could be wrong. But anyway, the shooter shells are gonna go in this rack and we're gonna test it out. Just to see, you know, I kind of have some concern on the base plate and it being as tight as it is. Like obviously these tubes barely wiggle. And remember, they're just sitting in there in the bottom. There's nothing securing them down to the board. So I wanted to test it out for you guys just so we can see, you know, how's this thing gonna perform under pressure? Because the lift charge on these ball shells should give us that pressure that we're looking for a nice test. And then we'll take a look at the sturdiness of the rack after it's all said and done. But pretty much just gonna fuse these up with some zip ties. So I'm gonna show you one, but then I'll cut the video to where we have them all fused. But basically I'm just gonna do something like this. So we'll take a zip tie, put it right here. We'll take the second shell, bring it over a little bit. I'm trying to do this out in the field and it's a little bit windy, so bear with me. All right, so we'll connect it like that. I don't wanna do 2 right away because I wanna make sure that I can even get these fuses over far enough. Yeah, like check this out. So we'll put that one right on the tip. And then we'll keep trying that all the way down. So we're just pulling these shells over. Even if they come up a little bit, it's okay because as soon as that fuse hits, they're gonna drop the rest of the way down into the tube. And maybe you guys have already seen it, maybe you haven't, but I've got a video coming, or you probably have already seen it by the time you're seeing this one. But I got a video coming on what happens if you don't load the shell in all the way. And we're gonna be testing out a bunch of different stuff with the racks. So yeah. Actually, you guys have definitely already seen that video, so you're gonna have to make fun of me in the comments now for not knowing my own upload schedule. But so right now we've only got 1 zip tie, so 1 point of connection on each fuse, but we definitely wanna add 2. It just gives me some reassurance that they're all gonna go off, because if we're only using 1, we've only got that 1 point where both of the fires from the fuses will touch. So I like to have 2 just in case. On the 300,000 Saturn missile batteries that we did, you really saw an example of how some fuses won't hit if you only have 1 zip tie on there. So if you haven't seen that video, go check it out so you know why I'm doing this. But yeah, we're gonna get all these things touching at least twice with a zip tie, and it should look something like that. So this time on the slide rack, we're gonna be using canister shells. Now when I say slide rack, assuming you haven't seen the video where I put these together, basically you have the ability to slide out these Excal tubes, and that helps you with storage. It doesn't really serve any other purpose than for storage, because you can stack these and you can put all of these into a tote and not really have to worry about them after the 4th. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna need some fuse, because obviously we have way more spacing on here because of the base. On the other rack, we drilled the bases off. So here there's a lot more space where the fuses are gonna be. And so what I'm gonna do is just load the first 2 shells. This one here's a platinum willow. What was this one? This is another platinum willow. So we're gonna start and end with a platinum willow effect. And basically just to make this go by a little faster, what I'll do is connect the last shell right away. And we're gonna go this way with them. So we'll connect that with a zip tie, and then we'll bring it all the way up here to the front and connect that one right away. So I can just drop the last 4 of these shells in and not have to worry about messing with fuse out here in the field. It's a little windy right now, so yeah, we'll just do something like that. And now we drop the rest of these shells in, and the fuse is already here. So it's a lot easier for us to just connect them. Now, I never ended up putting a stopper on this end. So technically, I don't think it would happen, but technically you could have one of these tubes jump out of the other side. But I had a guy comment on the last video that you could totally just make a swivel stopper here so that you could just put it in and lock it in place if you want to. And that's honestly a great idea. So really, if we have one of these jump out, it'll be on video, and then you'll know, like, you definitely want to put that second stopper on there. Personally, I don't think it'll be necessary, but we are gonna find out, trial and error. This is just the test run for these racks. So just like on the last rack, we're gonna have 2 points of connection here with the zip ties. And again, on that 3-shot effect rack over here, we're gonna bring it up on the tailgate for you and show you a technique to get all 3 of those shells to fire at once. But basically all I'm doing here is the same thing on the last rack, just making sure that I have 2 zip ties per fuse so we can guarantee ignition across the whole board. All right, so we just finished fusing up the slide rack, and now I want to take this 3-shot effect rack over to the tailgate. We'll show you what to do. So on the effect rack, we're going to show you what to do. We're going to rip out the green fuse that the shells come with, and you can see that's where it goes into the lift charge. We're going to be replacing that with quick fuse because we want all 3 shells to fire simultaneously. So I'm going to cut a good amount of it, and I'm just going to do that 3 times here. So I'll find where I cut that one, cut it again, and a 3rd time. So now we have all 3 of our leader fuses for the 3 shells. So all 3 of these shells are going to be the red strobing willow mine effect by Showline Fireworks. We got these shells from SFX out of Florida. And basically to lead it, we're just going to replace the green fuse, like I said, with the quick fuse. And I don't think we really need to tape these. We're just going to drop them in there like that. So remember, these are effect-based shells. So these canister shells, even though they look like they're going to go up and explode, they're actually just going to create this sort of waterfall mine effect with the willow. You might have to shake that lift charge a little bit to get it where you need it, but we'll put the 3rd shell in. And that is the whole reason why we made this 3-shot Excalibur rack, because you're going to be using something like this in an actual firework display. And so what I'll do here is just connect all 3 of these fuses like that, and then we'll put a leader fuse on the quick fuse so we have enough time to get away, because as you know, the quick fuse is going to go really quick. So we'll get that here on the top. But the reason we want all 3 of these quick fuses to be the same length is so they all get to that shell at the exact same time. So I'm just going to add 1 more up here. This is going to look really sloppy, but it still gets the job done. And we'll just put 1 more right up here and we should be good. So I did end up adding another zip tie here since that piece of quick fuse came up a little further, and 1 more here in the middle just to keep them all tight and together like that. So now we're ready to test out all 3 of our homemade Excalibur racks. We're just going to wait for that sun to go down and we'll be shooting all 3 of these off. All right, so we got Kate on the torch tonight, and we're going to go ahead and start with our effect rack. Remember, 3 shots all at the same time. Here we go. Nice. So you can definitely see the spread up there in the air. And that's something you would use as an effect in your show. All right, now we're gonna test out the ball shell rack. You can see I've got all 6 of the shooter shells by Stargate in here. And yeah, these are the tubes without bases. Here we go. Oh, that was a low one. Wow. So you guys can see why I got 2 cases of those shells. They're awesome. So I'm not sure how we got that one low break. It must have been the shell, because as you can see, there's nothing wrong with the tubes or the rack. Weird. All right, and last but not least, we're gonna test out the 6-shot slide method rack. And with these, we actually start down here because we really wanna test if this last tube is gonna jump out. So again, these are the 6-inch Bombas shells by Red Apple Fireworks. Here we go. Wow, look at that willow. It's gonna start and end with a willow. Love the tail on these things too. Pretty good pace on it too. Wow. Gorgeous willow, look at that. Wow. We got one more. Oh man, even better. Look at that willow. Well, as you can see, even the slide rack held up. And by the way, I'm using a different mic right now, so it might not be coming through as good as the one I wear here, but hopefully you can hear me. Either way, all 3 racks did what they were intended to do. No mishaps, minus the low break on this one. Not really sure what happened there. But yeah, the slide rack worked great. You can see this tube did not bounce out of here even after the 5 previous shells went off. So I'd say this rack here is pretty solid. I'd still probably put a stopper there on the end. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.